I've met several people in the military now who actually regret their decision to join, and they actually give some pretty understandable reasons why. Unfortunately, the reasons they list are things that could have been prevented before signing the papers and shipping out by doing their own research like you're doing right now. I want you to avoid these mistakes before you join, so if any of these apply to you, make sure you course correct now before you're stuck with years of regret. These aren't in any particular order, but the first one is that they thought the military would be a lot cooler than it really is. Most civilians who picture the military have a Hollywood perception of the military because of all the movies and all the TV shows and all the video games. Well, there's a lot of people that join the military and want to be like an action movie hero, and they find themselves cutting potatoes or working behind a desk in some non-combat support role. Those non-combat support roles are just as important as the combat roles, but the people that signed up to see action and everything, they're going to be left bored or at least bitter, and in many cases wishing they didn't join at all. The way to avoid this is to make sure you do all of your own research about whatever job you're interested in, whatever rating, whatever MOS, what that job actually does. And the way you know what they actually do is to watch videos and channels like this, people that have already been where you're trying to go. And if perception is not reality, that job, that branch, or the military itself may not be right for you. The next reason I've known people to regret joining is that they thought it would be easier than it really is. Like, it's the real military. It's not a game, it's not a joke, it's real. If you're trying to get ahead and you're trying to move up the ranks, you need to do what others won't today, so you'll do what others can't tomorrow. What I mean is the job itself is not enough to progress. You need to do things outside of work like volunteer for events, become a member of associations, do all kinds of stuff, take leadership roles to distinguish yourself from others and make them say, you're the person to be promoted. You're going to be away from family and friends for months, maybe even years at a time. You're going to work with people you don't like. You're going to have leaders you don't respect. You're going to have all kinds of things going on. It's the real deal. And there's not much you can do about it because you can't quit and you can't be fired like a regular job. Now, in my experience, I've had the best coworkers I've ever had. I've had the easiest job I've ever had because I had a terrible job before this that I'll talk about at some point. But I enjoy my job, and I literally thank God every day I've had the opportunity to get it and to serve. Not every day has been a big bowl of cherries, but overall it's been the experience of a lifetime. But if you thought you could just sign up, get some medals, get a uniform, put your feet up on the desk, and just coast for 4 years, it's probably going to be a very rough experience for you. If you do decide to join, I want you to accept the reality that it's going to be a great experience, but it's also going to have a lot of bumpy roads and turns, and there might be some avalanches and some crocodiles and all kinds of weird stuff going on that gets thrown in front of you throughout your career. But you're going to look back and you're going to say it was really a great time. You're definitely going to miss the people that you work with. You may not miss everything, but you're definitely going to miss the people that you worked with. Not every day is going to be great, and what I will say about the first two regretful reasons here is that the military is a job. It's a very special job, but it's a job. My RDC told me in boot camp way back at the beginning, like, hey man, the military, it's just a job. Like, take it easy, it's just a job. And I'm thinking to myself, no, there's no way, because this is the real military. And I still had that Hollywood perception that civilians have about the military. And after being in for a while, it's a job. You wake up, you go to work, you go to sleep, that's life. It's not going to be some movie or drastic change versus if I worked at a different kind of security job versus naval security forces. It's a much better job than I can get somewhere else, like in the civilian world. It pays better, but it's a job. It's a very special job, but it's a job. So don't have any false expectations about a drastic life change versus working at a similar civilian equivalent place. The third reason that people I've met regret joining is because they made more money in their last job than they do here. For a lot of people, joining the military is a great stepping stone to, get an education, learn skills, save money, have experiences that you would otherwise never have, and all that is true. But there are a lot of people that join the military from like construction jobs, and they make a lot less money here as a junior enlisted person than they did as like a person that's experienced at construction in the civilian world. Honestly, I really don't think it's a fair comparison to spend a couple years at a construction site making $25, $30 an hour, and then you join the military and you leave boot camp like you don't know anything except the basic training, and you get to A school and you look at your paycheck and it's $800 and you say, wow, what a ripoff, this is terrible. It's like, well, you're brand new. Like, when you were brand new at construction, you probably didn't make that much either compared to when you left. So when you first get to the military, it's going to be less than what you're going to make later. Like any job, when you're brand new, you're going to make less than what you're going to make later. So I don't know what the big confusion is. Now, it is possible that if you had some high-tech job before, you're not going to make anywhere near as much for a very long time in the military. But I do know people that make, gross pay $9,000, $10,000, $12,000 a month, especially if it's a tax-free zone. And, for me, it's a huge pay increase. Now, when I first joined, it was a pay cut for me too. Like, I would make, $950 a check as a civilian, and here it's like $1,290 a check. But in basic training, it was like $800 a check. So it was a pay cut when I first joined, and it went up after a while. How much money the military gets paid shouldn't be a surprise because you can just Google it, and I made a video about a complete breakdown of how the military gets paid. You can Google like the base pay, but there's additional pay on top of that you can look at that I made a video about. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description. The fourth reason for long-term regret in joining the military is that they wish they chose a different job. Especially people that signed up for special warfare programs like SEAL and SWCC, and after they fail the training, which like 70 to 85% of people do, you're forced to pick a different job like BM, CS, MA, other jobs that they didn't want to have from the beginning, but they're forced to pick it because you didn't pass that, so you have to pick something else. Well, I joined to be this, but I never made it, and now I'm stuck with this over here. I wish I didn't join at all, and that's how they feel. By the way, this video took a really long time to make. I do them all myself, and I provide you the information for free. All I ask in return is that you hit the like button and subscribe, and I really appreciate it. The next reason that people regret joining is a pretty surprising one maybe. It's that they simply don't know any better. What I mean is that somebody is 17 years old, 18 years old, they join the military as their first job like out of high school, and they say, wow, this is terrible. I bet the civilian world is much better than this. But at the same time, there's someone like me that joined at 25 after being trapped in a civilian job they hated for 7 years, and they think they're in paradise. Like, I thought I was in paradise when I joined the military. So I'm happy as heck, and the person next to me is like, I can't believe how hard this is, and I'm like, are you kidding me? If you're 18 years old and the military is your first job, it might seem rough at first, like working long hours and being told what to do by someone else. But I can tell you that this is much, much easier and much better than anything you can experience in the civilian world without a college degree. I've been a janitor, I've been a house cleaner, I worked at the city landfill for a couple days. I did a terrible job I hated for many years, 7 years, and I upgraded from that to the military, U.S. Navy military police, and I'm so thankful for it every single day. So to me, this has been a massive upgrade. For someone else, it might feel like a downgrade or it might feel like it's terrible. It's not. Sometimes I catch myself daydreaming about being a civilian again, but then I have to remember being a civilian is what gave me the desperation to get in shape, join the military, and find a better life. So it's kind of a siren song to a degree. So if you're 17 or 18 years old and think the military is some horrible experience, that's some perspective. Like, what you're daydreaming about is what I escaped from. Enjoy the military and use its benefits because the military is definitely going to use you. The next reason that people regret joining is that they didn't join on their own accord. The military tries as quickly as possible to get people that don't want to be there out of there. Like, pretty much as soon as you arrive to boot camp, they're trying to get the people that aren't supposed to be there out. They're going to flat out ask you who doesn't belong here. Like, who lied to get in on their medical records about their mental health, who doesn't want to be here, who like had their dad or their uncle force them into the military, like you have to go join the military or else you're out of the family. As far as I know, there aren't too many of these cases showing up to boot camp of people that are like, they're being told, you have to become a Marine or else I'm not going to marry you, or you better become a SEAL or else you're not going to be in the family no more, you're disowned as my son, like stuff like that. people that are unwilling to go but get sent there anyways by their family, their friends, their spouses. Those are very rare cases, hopefully as rare as I think. But if something like that does happen to you, if you get pushed into something, you are able to say no. Nobody can force you into the military. It's your decision, it's your life. Nobody else can say anything. If you don't want to be there, the military doesn't want you to be there either. And if you think about it, when it comes down to it, if you have a situation, you want the person to your left and to your right to be there for you like you're going to be there for them. And it all starts right here. You can't have unwilling people in the military. The military tries to get them out, and they're successful at it. So if you step back and look at these reasons, they really have one major thing in common. It's because they have a lack of research and they have a lack of understanding of what they're getting themselves into. The main purpose of this channel is to give you all the answers and guidance that I tried to find for my own career before I joined and signed the dotted line, and I couldn't find those answers before I joined. And I'm trying to get those answers out to everybody now that I have them, and I'm trying to get you them for free. Hopefully this video and frankly the whole channel helped to provide you some guidance about your own career and your own career decisions. And I hope you really enjoyed this. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.